Okay, so in lesson 6, you're preparing, or I should say putting your final touches on your prospectus. And what you've heard in other videos in this lesson are different instructors' perspectives on, and advisors' perspectives on what they're looking for in a prospectus. And I'll just add a few points here. I do want you to recall what Marty Curry has said about grounding your work, again, solidly in 1 or 2 infrastructure systems. Now, you were prompted to do this early on when selecting a capstone topic, so we're quite sure that each of you has at least one. The vast majority of you have 2 or more systems of infrastructure that you're thinking about. But in order to have your research as you plan it out, in order to have that really be credible research in infrastructure planning and management, you're going to have to put some pretty deep thought into what 1 or 2, let's just say 2, what 2 infrastructure systems are really comprised of when it comes to the topic you're researching. So let's just give this a thought. So if you were going to do a case or an analysis of 2 systems, let's just say water and transportation in one jurisdiction, let's just call it a small town, and you were going to do a single case study. Let's keep it simple, and you would have to really give some thought to water systems and transportation systems, and be looking at the research that exists on water and water systems and transportation systems in order to understand what you need to look at and the kind of research you need to do in your town that you're going to study. So you should be looking through the UW library system, and one quick thing to do would be to go to the UW library system, click on the sidebar that says e-journals, and when you get to the e-journals page, you can enter search terms, and those are search terms that you can enter for the titles or subject matter of journals. So you would definitely be wanting to enter search terms for water, to enter water and see what all of the journals are that have water as their subject matter, and then going and searching in those journals for subject matter that relates to your topic. The same thing for transportation. Transport, you'll want to enter that as a topic in the e-journal search, and then come up and go look through the different journals. Now, there are so many publications out there around the world that it really shouldn't be difficult for you to hit some top 4, 5, 6 journals that cover your subject matter, and skim the articles in those journals for ways to understand, and you can go do electronic searches within each journal. And you should be looking for ways to understand the existing research, what that existing research tells you and what it doesn't, and how that existing research and those research designs can be used by you to come up with your own plan for research. Now, and when it comes to your little town and what you're researching, one of the things you'll need to think about really firmly when it comes to grounding these in infrastructure is what data is going to be valuable to you in your research. You're going to need data about the water system. You're going to need data about the transportation system. Some of that data, it will have to be reflected in maps. You'll probably need GIS-based data or other types of data like that. If you're going to understand the relationship between, these systems and how they're financed, you'll need data from budgets, government budgets, but perhaps even the budgets of private organizations or nonprofit, special districts and that sort of thing. So you'll need to really think about the kind of data that you need, what the time period for it, the area of coverage for it, the relationship between your subject matter and the data that you need. And then contemplate what Volodya has said. Then think about how that data and that existing research matches the research question that you're asking and the research design that you're saying you're going to undertake. A single case study, comparative case study, system analysis. What kind of research are you doing? Are you going to solve a problem? Do you have a method that's used to solve the problem? You give some real thought to these components and how they come together. When I read a research prospectus, I read it as though each prospectus is a proposal for funding. And I read it looking for, what is this research going to give me? What kind of problem is it going to help solve? And is it worth the money to fund that research? When I submit research proposals to National Science Foundation, National Institutes of Health, the contents of research proposals match almost exactly the contents of a research prospectus. It's the same process. You have to let people know what you're going to try to go discover and what you think you might get as a result of that process. And if people think it's a compelling topic, they might go forward and fund it. But they're only going to think it's a compelling topic and worth funding if the research design is solid, if the research questions are clear, if you're going to go get the right data to be able to try to effectively answer that problem, if you've covered all the existing research in a way that shows the necessity of this and your fit with your approach to what other people have already been writing about and doing research about. So I hope that's helpful guidance for you, and we hope that these videos have helped given you an understanding of what folks are looking for the prospectus. Good luck.